and we've also seen in some places where electioneering materials are being destroyed by citizens. I mean, about one would even think that with all the voter education that would have gone on, with the fact that everyone is pushing that votes should count and people should go out and exercise their rights, no one would even, like, you would think, no, it would be very difficult to recruit anyone to be an agent to destruction. But no, it's really happening. I mean, like, we've had people sending Facebook lives, videos. It's like technology, right? The power of technology these days is really amazing, where you're seeing things happen real time and you're able to vet them, and you're able to, like, you're able to put it out there for everyone to see. Is like evidence that cannot be hidden. It's
Yeah.
just glaring. It's like
Yeah.
they say nothing is hidden under the sun, and this is just it. What would you say about technology generally and the present day election? In
Yes.
What's your
So,
point of view?
yes, my point of view is that as much as technology is what we have all welcomed, it has its good sides and its bad side. Because despite the fact that yes, we are seeing snippets of videos coming in from the field, issues whereby there will be agitations, yes. But at the same time, it has also encouraged voters to come out. So I'm just going to put it. It's there's an advantage and there's also a disadvantage.
More like two sides of the
Two
same
sides
coin,
of
right?
two sides of the same coin. Because I would have actually expected that the social media companies that we have in the country, Meta should have taken measure immediately to stop those. Okay, so we would like to see where Meta would have actually curbed some of those videos. There were videos
Yeah.
that actually saw someone calling the name of a party and saying, if you're not a member of this party, you should leave this vote. We have actually seen where they said someone is saying, oh, you're not the indigene of this place. Those are situations whereby I would have said the social media platforms should have actually curbed those things from even going viral.
Oh well, if you say that those things should be censored, I mean, wouldn't that be like tampering with evidence? Because I mean, if you call a certain party, these are practices that
I see you vote another part, but go ahead about how. You no come joke for here. This territory where you dey na APC o. Go your house. Go relax. If you no fit vote APC for here, go your house. Nobody force you come here.
at the polling unit and all that, those are practices that INEC has frowned against.
Yes.
So would you say that if one, like
And Thomas, I repeat am again. Any Igbo wey dem born very well, wey dem born here, me I dey here. Wey dem born here, make it come vote here, please. Me I dey here. And Thomas,
form of violence, we said vote not fight and all that. But
Yes.
if any if Meta, for example, decides to censor and not allow us know what the person is saying,
Saying.
down to getting details and having evidence, wouldn't
If it's something that will incite violence, because those videos have actually brought up a lot of reactions on social media. So those are the kind of things that we would want to see projected more. We're not trying to say you should remove them. No, there's certain there are certain contents that easily go viral, but then we also know that we have things that can actually stop those things from going viral. So that's just what I'm trying to say, that they should come in and assist us as a country and reduce those things from going viral. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be there, but then when they go viral, in the interest of, let me say, in the interest of national interest, they should just come in for us. Yes, thank you
so,
very much.
so basically, it has become a practice that the only and one of the only ways to document evidence is, putting it out there, the internet never forgets actually. So you're able to, get the required attention you want. I know it's a practice that has gone on, that for to call on international communities or to call on stakeholders. The only and better way to do it is to put it out there, whereas in a space that is not as controlled and all that. As you said, there are pros and cons of these things, but I'd suggest that as much as these materials can be inciting or trigger some form of emotion and maybe blur your objectivity, the best thing to do is not to subscribe to violence, because I mean peace is priceless.
Yes.
So basically, it's the whole electioneering process is still on in some places, while some places they're already counting votes electronically. Some people would have even started tracking to see whoever is likely to emerge. I mean, the big question is on my mind too: who will be Nigeria's next president? So while we still wait on INEC to come up, so with the, I mean, they scheduled a press conference earlier, and then they're scheduling another one, which is in the works already. While we wait to listen to the situation reports and also to get updates and all that regarding security and how they're addressing issues as they come up on the field. We'll still be chatting here with Laraba while we wait for INEC to come up. So another thing came to mind again. Earlier I asked you while you were out there, what was the ratio of PW persons with disability to like what was the ratio? How was
Yes.
the turnout and all that? We had
Yes.
talked about it earlier, but I'd like to know again, going back to the field, what did you notice? Because I mean, we're pushing for inclusivity, and it's really strong out there.
Okay, I'd like to speak candidly. One of the concerns I mentioned earlier was that I had to speak to somebody from the Civil Society Commission that deal with inclusivity, persons with disability, and they also don't have the data of centers where persons with disability go to vote. Again, when I went to one of the situations room, one of the questions that came up was, what is the situation of persons with disability? Still, they got the same response that I got, that they are yet to get any information about persons with disability. So it's something that we still are waiting to know. So maybe into the night and in like as we go, we're going to see reports coming, because they actually out of 93 million voters that we have in the country, we only have 85,000 who are persons with disability.
All right. So, I mean, I would say, in my thoughts, I'd say, maybe there shouldn't be special centers for people with disability, but or better still, we should have reasonable accommodation where they're able to have like access, right? So those on wheelchair have proper access. Those who are blind, have like some form of uh, access leverage to use some form of some things like maybe their aids and all that, that kind of thing. So you're not saying, you're not you can't come into this to the polling unit, or you can't go to the polling booth with your assistant, or the person assisting you, your aide rather, that's the word to use, and all that. So those are factors that we'll be looking at, like reasonable accommodation, what has been put in place, and also to ensure that, for example, a person who is blind is not cajoled or put under pressure to cast votes, or maybe made to cast votes in the wrong place against their own will, because they cannot see the ballot paper or know where it is exactly. So, with that being said, would like to go back to the room where the press conference is going on. INEC chairman will be addressing the press. It's going on already. Thank you very much. I remain Katlong Dasat, and
My name is Laraba Ajibda. See you soon.
part of Argungu, but mainly in Brunikebi, but voting is ongoing. But we have a situation in Bayelsa State, particularly
voters volunteered and started the work. So incidentally, in some places, they voted, they did the accreditation and waited for some hours before they started voting. So what will be the outcome of the result from that place? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairman. My name is Ogochukwu Okoronkwa, and I report for Radio Nigeria. A colleague of mine that went to vote at Tungamaje FCT Health Center polling unit said that out of the 5 polling units, that thugs came and made away ballot boxes belonging to 007 and 014. He now said that the people now mobilized and started beating them before the police came, dispersed the people, and later now went out again with the ballot boxes and the ad hoc staff. So for people that were supposed to vote at 007 and 014, voting ended for them. So she's now asking, will there be another opportunity for them to vote, or is that the end of the voting experience for them? Thank you.
Thank you. Please
just follow up, sir.
Honorable Chairman to answer those questions, please.
Okay,
please.
Sorry, I crave your indulgence. I know that there are many, many people who have many, many good questions to ask and suggestions to make. But we are in the middle of an election, and we have to go back to our situation room. That's why we have limited the interventions to 3. I'm sure there'll be another opportunity for us to respond, to hear from Nigerians. After all, in our situation room, we have the ICCC, the INEC Citizens Contact Center, and through our social media handles, you can still contact us live and direct, and we will be able to respond to the issues you have raised. And so many Nigerians have been responding and drawing our attention to situations to which we have in turn also been responding. So I crave your indulgence. I'll respond to these 3 quick interventions, and then we go back to our situation room. The first one is the security of the beavers, particularly now that we are going to the next stage. At the polling units, remember, after the ballot papers have been sorted out and counted, and the result sheets duly signed by the presiding officers and the agents of political parties, will snap the picture of that result sheet and upload on the IREV portal. So the question is, what happens? This is partly why I said in my opening statement that we met with the security chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, the National Security Advisor, and the Commandant General of the Security and Civil Defense. Yes, people are targeting the beavers, but remember also, in our planning for the election, we have made contingency arrangement. In none of these areas where the beavers was targeted was election not held as a result of the absence of the beavers. The highest number came, as I said, from Safana local government area of Katsina State. And as I said earlier in my first briefing, the police, working with the commission, have arrested the hoodlums and recovered 3 out of the 6 beavers, and the manhunt for the other people is ongoing. So we have taken sufficient measures to make sure that we protect the beavers' machines. Remember, we'll use the same machines in the next 2 weeks for the governorship and state assembly elections. So we're not joking with this situation at all. It's critical to the conduct of credible elections. Princess from the Anambra Broadcasting Service, results emanating from a primary school where voters volunteered to conduct the election. I know that the commission appreciates the work of volunteers. That's why we rely on ad hoc staff or temporary staff. but these are staff engaged by the commission, not staff who engage themselves on behalf of the commission as good Samaritans. So I'm not aware of the specific details of this situation you described in Anambra, but as soon as we go back to the situation room, I will place a call to our resident electoral commissioner in Anambra State. So we'll find a way of dealing with this situation. Finally, the issue of Tunga Maji, raised by our sister from Radio Nigeria, that thugs made away with some of the election materials before voting could be concluded. So are we now going to resume voting in these locations again? So what we'll do immediately after this meeting is to call our resident electoral commissioner for the Federal Capital Territory and find out exactly what the situation is. Surely, if there are still voters on the queue at Tungamaji, what I have described earlier will apply to that location as well. Anybody who had, who was on the queue before 2:30 will be allowed to vote, even if voting goes well beyond the official closing hours of the polling unit. So we'll find out as soon as we leave this place. So once again, I thank you and I thank Nigerians for their understanding and patience. We are making really very, very steady progress and will continue to ensure that nothing truncates our democracy or truncates the will of the Nigerian people. Our allegiance is to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and our commitment is to the Nigerian people. I thank you very much. But before we close, in case there is need to issue another statement again, we will at short notice inform the media because they are here. But as a matter of course, I would like to invite you at midday tomorrow for the official opening of the National Collation Center for the 2023 general elections. We hope later tomorrow we expect to have some of the results of the election coming from the states, particularly for the presidential election. So the situation room, the collation center for the presidential election will be opened at midday tomorrow, Sunday, the 26th. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of INEC, we thank all of you for coming, especially the heads of electoral commissions of sister Africa countries. Thank you.
And welcome back. It's still TV Afrique. My name is Katlong Dasat, and we've been filling you in. We've been filling you in with everything happening around the country, and also we just finished watching a situation report by the INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu, where he filled us in or told us a lot about how they're addressing issues as they arise. I mean, like SN North, SN South, canceling some, shifting some elections with like 2 weeks, and also like the fact that all the places where thug operations happened, and the bimodal device or or either snatched or destroyed, all those places will still, you know, uh, election will still be conducted in those places. So basically, it's not like, I mean, there's so much effort to make sure no one is disenfranchised, which is really great. Basically, we'll wait to have a chat with Festus Okoye, who is the Voter Education and Information Commissioner of the INEC. And before that, I know we talked earlier about, we showed you footages of things happening around the country where, some places, like pockets of places in Bielsa, where INEC did not show up early, or people protesting that they must vote because, I mean, they've put in, or they've gone all the way to make sure that they have their voter card, and then on the big day INEC is not showing up. So I'm sure that INEC, listening to this or getting to hear all these situations, will work towards addressing the situation. Also, we've seen, we've heard many places right now. Us that he is not collation until tomorrow, although we've heard that all the polling units have people observing the election with eagle eyes. But then again, we've seen people, seen footages, amateur footages of people, cajoling, or rather forcing people to vote for a particular party. If not, I mean, danger awaits them, which is something to frown about, because as a Nigerian and as a in other places, you see where, I mean, I keep mentioning Bielsa because we got a lot of situation reports from Bielsa. In Kogi too, heard about thug movements in Kogi. I mean, the interesting part is that INEC is not giving up. The INEC chairman said they've made arrangements, and they're going to protect the bimodal voting device to make sure that it is being used again, because in the next 2 weeks we're going to go into the gubernatorial and the House of Reps election. Today is the presidential and the senatorial, and it will interest you to know that election observers, party agents have the likes of Senator Dino Melaye in the building, waiting to, protect what it is of his party, and many other, big time analysts, which we hope to also have here in the studio to, talk talk about the elections and all that. While you're at home, would like to hear your polls, you can just, in the comment section, you can write us and let us know how it went. If you've heard of any experience you want to share with us, you can just hit the comment section and then tell us what's happening in your area as regards the elections. Is it part of what you're seeing on TV right now? Have you witnessed something that you know that is being frowned out at? Do you want to give us an eyewitness report? Why not go ahead and just give it to us, and we will, of course, welcome it. Just make sure that whatever it is you're providing as information and footage is not in any form inciting, or better still, not fake news, because we greatly frown about fake news in TV Afrique and other media in Nigeria at large. At this point, while we wait for my colleague Laraba to join us so we can have a little chit chat again while we wait for our guests in the studio. We'll take a short break and remind you that your vote will count and you should not hate and fight. I mean, just keep the love coming and also support all the efforts that everyone has put in today to make sure that we see this election process through. I'll be right back. Katlong Dasat. Stay with us.